Hello and welcome to the Stress Mastery Podcast. I am your host, Peggy Romero. I can't believe it. We've got 1 year into the new year already. Happy 2023. I hope this first week was great for all of you and that you're right on track where you want to be. So finally, it's Saturday, and we've been discussing legacy all week. So thank you guys for listening. And if you missed any of the episodes, go back and listen. Definitely worth your time. So, as usual, I Googled the word, and here's what my search came up with when I looked for legacy. Number 1, an amount of money or property left to someone in a will, i.e., my grandmother died and unexpectedly left me a small legacy. Number 2, the long-lasting impact of particular events, actions, etc. that took place in the past or of a person's life, such as he left us a rich legacy of buildings that are both innovative architectural creations and genuine works of art. Well, those both sound kind of monetary, property, just having to do with money. You also hear things like, whoever has the most toys wins. Wins what? I'm not sure. That isn't what I think of when I hear the word legacy. In fact, that's kind of the opposite of my attitude towards life in general. Don't get me wrong, I love my stuff. I just don't need a whole lot of it to be content. But if you're materialistic, that's fine. It's great as long as you're really happy. There's no right or wrong here. We're all individuals. What I'm saying is, I don't think legacy has anything to do with money. Consider this idea. It is not what I have, it is not what I do, but who I am in my heart that determines the quality of my life. To me, the only thing that matters is that we live connected to our heart. I can live with a lot or I can live with a little, as long as I'm happy at heart. I love people, and I spend time thinking about what I think about people. I aim to see the best in everyone. I'd love to always see the best in everyone and everything. The other day on the podcast, Bill mentioned that your legacy is what people are saying about you now. That really bugged me. I told you guys that some of my friends and family aren't that happy with the new me. They don't like the changes that I've made over the past couple years. So, of course, I started wondering, what are they saying about me now? Well, fortunately, God always blesses me. So in his miraculous way, he sent several people to cross my path this week just to remind me of who I am in him and how he sees me and how other people see me. I am so grateful. And I'm going to just leave that at that because I want to tell you guys about my brother Mick and what a beautiful and kind soul he is. So Mick and I were raised together. We were 2 out of the 7 kids that my parents had. And we were both born and raised in the same household, but our stories are completely different. While I admittedly took drugs and drank and stuff when I was younger, I quit at an early age. I felt the pull to get high or drunk or whatever, and I decided it wasn't for me and that my kids were going to be more important than that. So if I wanted to be a good parent, I was going to have to be of sound mind, which didn't include smoking pot or, drinking around them. I also decided that buying things for them was so much more important than buying drugs or alcohol for myself. So I certainly couldn't afford to do both. So that really got me out of that lifestyle pretty easily. So I moved out and set a course to make a better life for myself. But my little brother Mick didn't fare as well as I did. I wish I could have taken him with me. Believe me, I tried to. Mick has been addicted to drugs since he was a child, seriously. He started drinking when he was maybe 10 years old. He got addicted to heroin by the time he was in his 20s. So Mick actually overdosed in my kitchen on my little boy's 3rd birthday. He started a bike messenger service in his 20s, delivering documents downtown from one business to another. Jack Flash Messenger Service. He was a pioneer, and boy, he was quick. An entrepreneur with a great heart. He was full of energy and could do anything he set his mind to. And he was so good at it that he had to buy more bikes and hire a couple more kids. He was going to college and wanted to help underprivileged youth. He used to ride his bike for like 100 miles just for something to do. He was healthy, sound mind and body. But unfortunately, he kept up the drugs and the drinking. For years, he kept it together. He had a nice apartment in downtown Portland where rents are high. And he looked like he was doing really well until the drugs and alcohol inhibited his ability to maintain his good service to the customers. So he ended up losing his wonderful girlfriend over drugs and drinking, ended up losing his customers, his apartment, and then even his bikes. So then he didn't have a job anymore and he started couch surfing. Well, everybody loves Mick, and we all tried to help him. But nobody in our family is going to support a grown man for a long time if he's not going to work. And believe me, we tried for years. We went to counseling with him. We got him set up for this and that, whatever we could find for help. He went to rehabs and we did interventions. I let him live with me many times. I don't remember how many. I just had the stipulation that he got a job and keep the drugs out of my house. It never worked out. We tried everything we could think of. But I had my kids to worry about, and I couldn't have his stupid syringes and heroin at my house. I just couldn't live like that. But unfortunately, Mick couldn't live without it. So I had to make the decision to keep my kids safe. My kids loved him, so it hurt all of us for me too. I didn't turn my back on him, but I'm just going to call it tough love. I quit helping him. I just didn't know how to help him. He wouldn't straighten up. Not with any help that I had. So he loved all of us in the family enough to move away. He moved away from Portland, from his friends, his family, and all that he had ever known, just so that we didn't have to watch his demise. I mean, that's a pretty cool guy. He went to Seattle, ended up living on the streets. He was literally homeless at least 10 years, maybe more. Everybody loves Mick. He's such a nice guy, so I'm hoping that he got lots of help. He doesn't have a job, no. He hasn't had a job since he lost Jack Flash. How does he pay to live, you may wonder? Well, Mick was blessed with an ear for music. He is a talented musician. He makes tips by playing music on the corner at Pike Street Market. Finally, after living on the street through winters for a decade or more, he got an apartment. I think that was about 12 or 13 years ago. He got into a Section 8 apartment for $50 a month. Oh my gosh, we were so happy. My sisters and I were elated when he got the apartment. So we gathered up all that you need to set up house, and we went up to Seattle a couple times to bring it to him. A love seat, a bed, dishes, towels, rugs, cleaning supplies, a small table and chairs, pots and pans. Whatever we could think of that he needed, we got for him. We were so happy that he had a roof over his head. Some of it we had, lots of it we bought. But we were relieved that our brother was no longer living on the streets. I mean, what's your worst tough love nightmare, right? That they end up on the streets on drugs, homeless? Yeah, that came true for us. It was really hard to live with for all those years. So anyways, I'm crazy about linens. I'm just crazy. I love blankets and sheets. So I bought him several, different comforters, blankets, bedspreads, sheets, warm blankets for the winter, cool breathable cotton blankets for summer, different sheet sets for different seasons, like flannel to keep him warm in the winter and cotton to keep him cool in the summer. You guys, he kept one sheet set and one light blanket and gave the rest away. I was so mad. Peg, thank you, but why do you think I need such warm blankets and comforters? I have heat and a roof over my head now. These guys out there on the streets are freezing. But that's Mick. He would have let them all move in if he could. Fortunately, there's strict rules, and he's the only one on the lease, so no overnight guests. He knew he'd get evicted if he broke the rules, so otherwise all the streets of Seattle would be living in his little apartment. One winter was unusually cold. We had a lot of snow, and it just lasted and lasted, which it doesn't usually. Usually we have a cold snap, and then it goes back to the 40s. I was in Portland, and he was in Seattle. And it was cold a long time, and he called me, "Hey, can you get me some long johns and maybe some socks? I'm freezing out there, and I have to go play because I have to make money. The tourists are out now, and I got to get out there." He doesn't ask for stuff too often, so I sent him a ton of stuff. 6-pack of thermals, like a 6-pack of pants and a 6-pack of shirts, a whole bunch of socks, several hats, gloves, scarves, those thermal warmers, that heat up. Put them in your shoes and in your gloves. Probably sent him a coat too. I don't remember. He calls me and says, "Oh, thanks for all that stuff. You made so many people happy. That was so nice of you, Peggy." What? Mick, you gave it away? That was for you. And I always remember he said, How many pairs of long johns and socks do you think I can wear at a time? I figured you sent that for me to share with everyone. That's just Mick thinking about them instead of himself. I'm his sister thinking about him. So yeah, he's the drug addict who would never steal from his soul and will give you the shirt off his back. You may think he has nothing to offer the world, but that would be incorrect. So back to legacy. So this morning, I'm thinking about writing the podcast, and all I have for my ideas so far is that idea that I shared with you from Marianne Williamson earlier, her meditation from the day. And this isn't verbatim. It is not what I have, it is not what I do, but who I am in my heart that determines the quality of my life. So legacy, what you leave behind. How our lives are imprinted on another person's heart, on their soul. So I have some ideas, but nothing solid for the podcast. But then here comes my blessing. I see this email. I get an email from a stranger. I'm going to call them Sam and Jake, although that's not their real names. But I got an email on my business site this morning. You guys, this is so beautiful in so many ways. I was really taken back. I had to absorb it for a minute just to take it all in. I was kind of overwhelmed. I went for my walk and listened to my podcast, and I went to the gyms, just still thinking about it, and realizing how this email ties in so well with this week's topic. It's not what I have, it's not what I do, but who I am in my heart that determines the quality of my life. Okay, so I'm going to read this anonymous letter. I'm just overwhelmed by it, so I got to try to get through it without crying. So I'm going to send Sam the link so he can listen to the podcast, because his kindness is so beautiful, it made my day. I'm going to read the email to you now. Hello, I'm just writing to tell you that my son and I met your brother Mick at Pike Market last week. We're from New York City area, and we're in Seattle visiting family. My son Jake is 9. He is an aspiring musician and artist and loved all the bands and styles that came from there. He was already in heaven exploring the market and that vibe that afternoon. But what really sealed the deal for him was meeting your brother. Mick saw his hair and knew he was a rocker. He was so kind and enthusiastic to me and my son and let him play the guitar and even showed him some new chords. He wanted to make sure that he helped promote your writing also by telling me about your book and insisting on giving me the name of it. Jake confided in me as we were leaving that he felt like he had met a great musician that day and that he would consider Mick one of his influences from now on. Standing in that famous spot, playing the guitar, is something he will remember for a long time. It's rare in this messy world that you meet a genuine, kind soul. He made a direct positive influence on a young person in just a few moments, and I'm thankful. We tipped him, but I feel like it wasn't enough in hindsight. Is there any way that I could send him a care package? Maybe some guitar stuff? Anyways, if not, tell him thank you for making my son so happy. Sam. So Sam, a total stranger, saw my brother's heart. You know how many people would have and do every day whisk their child away from this long-haired, hippie-looking street urchin dude? My brother. I'm so glad he didn't, because Jake and Sam would have missed the blessing. He'd have missed the whole experience. That little boy was playing the guitar right across the street from that famous corner that they always show on the movies. You know, the Pike Street Market where they throw the fish and yell? That's where Mick's Corner is, right there. So now that boy has the memory to last a lifetime. I find it remarkable, too, that here's Mick out there playing his guitar, trying to make money at Christmas time. He takes his time to be kind to this boy. Remember, you guys, people are walking around there, lots of them. And if he's not playing, nobody's tipping him. But he shared what he had with a stranger. All he's got is time and musical talent. But that's my brother. Yes, outwardly, he's a long-haired hippie, drug addict, and alcoholic. A loser without a job, getting subsidized rent. But man, he is so much more than that. He made that child feel special. He shared everything he had. He seeks out to help people all the time, anytime he can. On the inside, he is beautiful. He's a God-loving man who will and has literally given the shirt off his back probably 100 times. I kid you not. If you met him right now and he had a half a sandwich to eat for the whole day, he'd break off half of it and split it with you if you told him you were hungry. You guys, that's what my brother does. He loves, he cares, he shares. And then also, did you notice that in the moment that he has with these guys, my brother's promoting me, trying to get this guy to buy my book? I mean, I bet he does that every chance he gets. He has had me send him books, so he passes them out to girls that are low on self-esteem and tells them, my sister used to be just like you, but she's not anymore and she can help you. He sees people's hearts. He has nothing and is always willing to share the little he has with anyone, everyone. So as far as legacy, in many ways, I wish I could be more like Mick. If your legacy is what people are saying about you now, then he's got a great legacy. Because look what Sam's saying about him now. And besides Sam reaching out to me, I guarantee you that Mick has positively affected the hearts of many others just by being him. I will be forever grateful for the email from Sam. Thank you for taking your time for sharing the blessings with me, sir. And yes, you guys, according to societal norms, Mick is a complete mess. But here's the good news. He's in his late 50s and he quit taking heroin, I think 4 years ago. He just quit one day. He said it was a miracle. God blessed him. Unfortunately, he still does drink way too much. But he knows that that was a miracle. And he knows that God has him here for a reason. So he just spreads kindness as much as he can. And he did tell me that he's cut down on his drinking. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I was happy to hear it. All things are possible, you guys. My brother just woke up one day and put the needle down after decades. He's done. I have hope for him, much more hope than just that. We are all here for a purpose. And if we can connect to the purpose and share what we have, the ripple effect will go on and on and on and on and on in a good way. That's legacy. And I found another meaning for legacy. The definition of legacy is something that is passed on, but legacy can take many forms. A legacy may be of one's faith, ethics, or core values. A legacy may be monetary or other assets. A legacy may come from one's character, reputation, and the life you lead, setting an example for others and guiding their lives. What legacy will you leave? What will you do with the gifts God gave you? You guys, I thank you for joining me today. It really does mean a lot. I want to let you know that Sam also sent me a couple pictures of my brother and his son. I asked permission from him to share them on my website, and he said that I could, so you can find them at PeggyRomero.com. I really enjoy looking at them. I'm so happy that he sent them to me. And who knows, maybe they'll inspire you to share your gifts with others, because we've all got them. You never know the impact that your kindness may have on somebody else. Imagine leaving a legacy of kindness and grace. Well, that's it for today's show. Remember, our mission here is to create a shift in the planet, and you can join us on that mission by simply like, share, and subscribe. The links are right below the show notes. As always, until next time, stay inspired.